We want to be able to sharpen your study techniques, to master your subjects by using study techniques effectively. We are joined by a Future Global Leaders Club alumni who was also part of our speakers from the very first Leaklands Teen Self-Belief Conference out in Umtata. He did a stellar job there. He's currently a WITSI. He is a Bachelor of Accounting Science student at WITS. He started there in 2024. He has also served as interim chairman of the WITS Men's Hall Residence, also a gender equality officer, which is really incredible, at the WITS Men's Res. He's founded the Pilot Youth Empowerment Program. Onwaba is really committed and is a results-driven student leader, recognized for his integrity, his consistency, and proven track record in leadership, advocacy, and student engagement. He's passionate about promoting equity, mental health awareness, and inclusivity, and currently serves as that gender-based and equity officer out in WITS. He's a superstar achiever who earned incredible results for his matric year in 2023, matriculating from Ebenezer Majumbozi High School with as a top HDI learner and earning himself an opportunity to study out at WITS and chase his dreams. He has been an inspiration to us all. And we also want to know how he got those top results. We also want to know how he still stays attaining those top results. I last spoke to him in June as we're heading out to the conference with Ulishe, and he had just written an exam, and he says, "Yeah, I don't think I did that great. You know, I was aiming at 90%. I think I landed at 85. So that's the type of achiever we're speaking to today, and we cannot wait to hear from him and his study techniques. So, Onwaba, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, FGLers. Good evening, Sobetwa. My name is Onwaba Sobetwa, as introduced. I'm an alumni of the club. I'm currently at WITS and I'm doing my second year in Bachelor of Accounting Science. I was a little bit fearful because I feel my learned friend here, Atile, has exhausted the content, but also I think it's important because she touched on knowing the type of student that you are. And I am tasked here today to provide, or rather to share with you, an entire ecosystem of study techniques that you guys can choose from. And it's important because we are all in the pursuit of something common, and that is excellence. So I will provide these practical tools in order for you to achieve that excellence. But far more importantly, and central to building a system. But far more importantly, the study techniques that I will share with you guys are going to be central in building a work ethic that embodies the ideal student we are trying to develop here at FGL. And that is a student whose work ethic is grounded, or rather rooted in being consistently consistent, as we always say. I will now share my screen with you guys, if you will allow me a moment.
All right, perfect. We can see your screen, Onwaba.
Can you guys see?
Yes, I can see on my side.
Oh, okay. So when I was in high school, and even now I still do, I had peers, people I studied with, and some people who, I don't want to say they looked up to me, but people who saw themselves in me and wanted to attain the same that which I attain for myself. And they always ask, but how is it that you are able to do and like, how is it that you're able to do all for yourself? How is it that you are able to get all of the 7 distinctions? How is it that you're able to be always in the top 3, get the white blazer? Because I studied too. And the most important thing that I want to impress here to you guys today is that the proof is in the habits. The proof is in the habits that you build. The proof is in the habits that you possess. There's a saying that goes that we are what we repeatedly do. So therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. I will share with you guys throughout the entire course of the presentation are 7 evidence-based methods or study techniques, but also I will share with you guys action plans or study habits that will go hand in hand with those study techniques. And they will certainly help in enhancing the discipline that is needed in order to pull it off, foster a sense of direction and the necessary work ethic. So I'll ask that you please lend me your attention. So as I say, that the proof is in the habits that you build for yourself. All of us here want something, and you all want something common for ourselves. And those are high marks, bar none, undisputed. We're all FGLers, we all want high marks. We all wish that we could get 90%. We all wish that you can get a 95%, and we all wish that there's a certain podium or certain award that you want to see yourself receive. And that is why we're here. But what I want to impress to you here today is that it is important to understand that results are a reflection of habits, and that magic does not happen in the exam room. Magic starts in your study desk. When you take the decision to sit down and study, tell yourself that you are going to study. It is then that you start a process or the catalyst of a process that will help you reach that result that you want for yourself. I must also try to impress on you, and these are the study habits. I haven't gone to the study techniques, but also I must try to impress on you the importance of creating an ideal environment, because your study environment significantly affects your ability to concentrate and retain information. When you study in an organized setting, that is helpful because it is a key factor in determining whether you get to the finishing line. For example, let me give you an idea or paint to you an idea of what a clean and cluttered environment is. First and foremost, when I was in high school, one of the things that I used to do when I just got back from school was I'd clean my room and I'd clean out my study desk. In my study desk, I'm only going to use, if I was going to study physics Doppler effect, I was only going to use what I knew I was going to need. And that's where it starts. Keep in your study desk what you know you will need. That is very key in creating an ideal environment for study. You cannot have all of your textbooks, your maths, your life sciences, your physics, and your accounting textbook while you are studying, let's say, geography. So if you are studying physics, you must only keep, if you're going to be doing one question paper, keep only that one question paper. Keep your calculator and keep your pens, your red pen, your black pen, and your lead. And then if you are using a laptop, you'll keep your laptop and then your bottle of water. But try to keep it clean because that helps promote focus and minimize distractions. It also sets the foundation for productivity, but much more importantly, efficiency. But I also want to speak about the power of consistency, and this is something that we always emphasize or try to emphasize here at FGL. That consistency is key to the study habits. That you've got to build a sense of structure because it will help you to maintain a momentum. But you also have to be strategic and realistic in how you are consistent. In that if you know you're a person who cannot study for hours, don't subject yourself to that because you will burn out. Burnouts are a thing, and it's important that you protect yourself. My analogy, or an analogy I want to present to you here today is that don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't bite off more than you can chew. The key in maintaining consistency is understanding that you have to align your routine, okanye routine, how you plan your day, is that you have to understand that you've got to align it with your energy levels. If you know you can't study at night, sleep at night, there's nothing wrong. If you know you're not a good first nighter, or you'll suffer, or you'll sleep in class, sleep at night, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you say, well, I study better at night, study at night, that's good. That's the power of consistency, that you've got to align your routine with your energy level. That is when you are able to untap or unleash the consistency within you. So when I say that don't bite off more than you can chew, when I was in high school and we were studying, this was something that Mr. Nabecha said to me. And I was like, I'm struggling. I was still struggling to be consistent. This was grade 10. It's like, I'm struggling to be consistent. And he says, how do you study? And I'm like, oh no, I study. I just see, if I'm studying physics, I'll study physics that day. And he says, but you can't do that. You've got to delegate your task. And that is what I mean by don't bite off more than you can choose. You can chew, I mean. That you've got to delegate your task, but as much as you delegate your task, you've got to do it strategically and realistically. Don't wait until it's too late and there's no crime in starting too soon. So if you are studying physics today, delegate your task. I'm not going to study the whole physics thing, but today I'm going to study Doppler's effect. When I'm studying Doppler's effect, I might start with the theory. And then when I'm done with the theory, I'll go sleep. Maybe I'll wake up at 4 in the morning if I'm able. If I can't, then it's still fine. Maybe I'll do it in break time when I have break time. But if I want to eat in break time, that's still fine too. But you've got to find time. And this is the power of, you've got to align your routine with your energy level. So be systematic and delegate or strategic in how you do your coursework. And that if you're studying physics today, you're studying maths, do delegate your work that today you only study trigonometry, or today you only study Doppler's effect. And you'll do past papers, maybe 10, on only one topic. And that will help you because there is power in repetition. One of the things that I was told during the course of the week was that structure beats procrastination. That essentially the reason why people tend to procrastinate is because there's a lack of structure. And so I want to impress to you guys the idea of an ideal FGL, that from the onset when you join the club, you are given a goal-driven mindset. And by the way, what you achieve is also rooted in the mindset that you attain for yourself. So effective studying begins with setting clear goals and realistic goals. Be objective in saying that, okay, when I study or when I will sit down for these 2 hours, by the time I finish, this is what I must have covered. By the time I finish, if I don't understand this, this is who I know I need to call. But also break down tasks, and this is something I've touched on. You must break down your task or your tasks or your subjects. Don't just say you'll study maths. Break them down, delegate. Maybe you say you'll study trigonometry and algebra because algebra is such a tiny topic. When we were in high school, we used to have bundles, and you could all download them on websites. So in those bundles, they'll take all the past paper questions and they'll put them in one, maybe for Doppler's effect. We'll take all the past papers and put them in one for electromagnetism, for all the topics for that matter, across all subjects. So find those bundles and use that resource. And I think it's going to be helpful in what I'm trying to display to you today. But set precise goals to give your study session direction and purpose. Be timeline bound. Don't study for 5 hours. You'll burn out. Be timeline bound. Create a roadmap for yourself. The nice thing about habit is that when you've subjected yourself to habit, it becomes part of you. It becomes you, because habit is repetition. And by nature, humans are victims of whatever habits they subject themselves to. So, and this is why that you've either got a bad habit or a good habit. habits are a two-coin system. It's either it's bad or it's good. When you see a person who has a white blazer or is a seven-star learner, because all of you here are FGLers, and if you're not here to attain, I'm sorry, maybe I might be naive, but if you're not here to at least have the desire to want to have that seven-star learner, seven-star membership, that by the time you enter, even if you entered on a 75, but by the time you exit FG, the club or you're an alumni, you must be at least on a five-star or a seven-star member. So that is important. Set precise goals. So yeah, that is on the, I think that was on the power, that's on the study habits and the two-coin system, that they are either bad habits or good habits. And by the way, all the people that you see that are doing well for themselves and you aspire to be like them, even with Watile, some of you I think would like to be or do see yourself studying abroad in whatever discipline you see yourself studying in, is that, and Attila mentions this, that there are certain habits that she chose to adopt. And in the adoption of those habits, there are certain things that she knew she had to forgo. Some of them are, but you don't have to, social life. So it's a two-coin system. It's either is a bad habit or it's a good habit, and you've got to choose. But be wise in your choice, because whatever you choose will either break or make you in the pursuit of excellence. But also, I will say that, and this is very important, track your progress and adjust it accordingly. If it wasn't realistic the first time you set it, go back, revisit, and adjust. And always, this is something that was said to us when I was my first year in FGL, was always leave room for a change of mind. And I think that is important, like to be flexible, allow yourself to be flexible. If it doesn't work and you see that it doesn't work, don't continue on that path. But there's also something just before I go into the study techniques that I want to speak to you guys about. And that is a technique, something that we've just learned. It's a technique for organizing your study schedule, and it's called the block time. It's a time blocking sheet. So here you are basically streamlining everything. You sit down, you plan your week. I mean, you actively sit down and you plan your week. You say, if I'm on Monday, this is how my day is going to look like. Maybe be realistic about it and say, I can't say I'll block out the first 2 hours of the day, because the first 2 hours of the day I'm at school. I have a morning class. So you can't do that. Maybe say you have a 1 hour break. The first few minutes of your break, you're going to revisit maybe whatever subject you had just before you went into break, or you're going to maybe your favorite subject. Maths is a critical subject, and I would like to stress and impress this upon you. Maybe take maths or physics or whatever the subject that you're struggling with the most. Say maybe the first 15 minutes of the thingy, I'll go back and try to go to the subject that I struggle with the most, and I'll block off my schedule for my break on Monday for that subject. Say that maybe you block off for the last 2 hours of the day, it's blocked up for maths or for life sciences. Or when you get home, you eat, you change, you immediately go in. But also take break, guys. Hey, take breaks. It's tough out here. If I don't mean to scare you, but we had a case of a person who, 2 cases, and this was during exam time when we were concluding the semester. People who, like, give grace to yourself, because we're human. There are people who push their bodies don't push your body too much. And I think this is something I know when I was in high school, is something that we used to do. I've seen it. It's not good. Don't be realistic, and don't push your body too much. Take breaks. There's no harm in taking breaks. So you must regularly review, adjust, actively sit down, prioritize your tasks, mark them. When you're making that block time sheet for that week, you mark them. If you have to have a meeting, put that there. If you have to have a consultation with your maths teacher, put that there. if ask your maths teacher what time they will be there, or during the week or whatever, because obviously a consultation in high school with the maths teacher, I'm assuming would revolve around your teacher. So let them know in advance, let them know if they're available. So put it down. If you have extra courses or you are extracurriculars, or you're an extracurricular person, you play sports, put it down, write it down, because it helps, because you'll know what to work on any given moment. And at no point will you waste time. I feel like for me, that is important because time is a scarce resource. Okay, let's get into it. So these are the study techniques. And the first one is active recall. Um, so this one is the one where you subject yourself, consistently subject yourself under exam conditions. I would suggest that you do this one, or you go into active recalls, or you only use the active recall method only when you have to, maybe 2 weeks or a month before exams, because it's very intense, and I'd rather you be consistent than follow intensity. Um, Self-generated tests and flashcard quizzes. And so active recall is what I was actually speaking about, that you sit down and you test yourself. You sit down, you put a timer if you have one. If you don't have one, get one. You sit down, you put a timer, and you say, okay, I'm going to do Doppler's effect for the next 2 hours. I'm going to do maybe June exams, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And when I'm done, and this is very important, when you are done, go back, revisit, review. But also in the course of that, you must put yourself under exam conditions, like you time yourself. Doppler's effect, each question you time yourself throughout those 5 papers or those 10 papers, if you are able to get that bundle of topics. So if you choose to say, I'll do 10, it's fine. Time yourself, but for each question, time yourself the exam mark. I think Doppler's effect was around 12, 15 minutes. So even if you're doing maybe maths and you say, okay, for today I'm going to do Euclidean geometry, time yourself. The Euclidean geometry was around, I think it took 45 minutes of the hour or the 3 hours, but time yourself. That is important. Time yourself to the exam mark, because that is important. And then obviously review and revisit. And then the second one is spaced repetition. So someone did speak about that they study a lot and that they don't study, and but they pass. They studied the day before and they pass. That's dangerous. Take it from me. That's dangerous. If you're doing grade 8, grade 9, then maybe you can do it. I did it in grade 8 and grade 9. I did good, but there's going to come a time where you're going to have a conversation yourself. You'll be forced to have a conversation yourself, at least if you want more for yourself, because it's just not going to be realistic and sustainable. If you want more for yourself and you want that white blazer or you want that scholarship, and this is another thing I want to impress for you, that you can get good marks, really, really good marks, and still not get into university. Or worse, get into university and not get funding. So you don't just do it because, oh no, I'm studying, and you're comfortable with where you are. Don't be, because, and I take this from me, funding it's a tough thing to get if you don't have marks that are good or sufficient to the requirements. And also, one of the things that I also want to share with you guys today, that most of the bursaries have actually, they track back to grade 10 now. At least the best bursaries, most of the ones that I know that are the good bursaries, they track back to grade 10. So for that person, I'd suggest spaced repetition. That if maybe you have an exam, maybe due in August or late August, or start a month before. When you know you have that paper 2 exam, start a month before. Say, okay, today I'm going to do this paper 2 on day 1. Then on day 3, I will revisit the paper. But before I revisit the paper, I've got to revise and remind myself what it is that I knew and what I did not know. so that by the time you finish on day 3, you know if you've fallen back or you've improved. And then you go again on day 7. You go do other subjects. You come again on day 7, and then you do the same thing: revise, do, and review. And then you say, okay, then maybe on day 14, and then maybe 2 days before the exam or a day before the exam, but sleep before the exam. Don't, and also in the process of you reviewing and revising, don't cheat yourself, because if you do that, it's you are sacrificing yourself. But also, I also want to exhaust to you guys once more that there are resources, and I want you guys to exhaust them. Your teachers are your resources. Exhaust them. At FGL, we provide, or they provide, free tutoring. I know I am a beneficiary of that, so I know. Exhaust. It's a resource. When you are given a resource, exhaust it. Please don't go with, even if it's hard for you to ask, just exhaust it. You'll see the economic benefits that will come or flow from that will far outweigh the panic or the fear that you had. And then the third one is the Pomodoro technique. I think this one is the most famous one. So in this one, you study for 25 minutes, you take 5 minutes break, and then you review at the end. So, and I wrote review at the end because for me, it's important that you review. You go back, and it's also something I touched on, that before you study, you've got to set study objectives. Say, I will study for this long, and by the time I finish, I want to have covered this much. And if I don't, you in the process of reviewing, if you don't understand, you must also, this is something to write down, that if you don't understand, this is the person that you must reach out to. We were lucky when we were at Ebenezer Majombozi. We could text our teachers at 3 o'clock in the morning, and by 6 o'clock in the morning, they've answered, and they're like, okay, come to my office and we'll go through the question again. So use it, exhaust that privilege if you guys have it. So the other one is the Feynman technique. So this one is the peer-to-peer technique. I like to think of it as a peer-to-peer technique, wherein you take what you know and then you share it with your friend. So I don't want to do so there's something called financial accounting that we're studying here, but also when we were in grade 12 as well, because I had peers of my own that I studied with. So what we used to do was, if we're doing paper 2 or paper 1 physics, we'll say, okay, we're now going to question 1, you will do question 1, you will do question 3, you will do question up until, because I think that 10 to 12 questions, if I'm not mistaken. And then, but we'll also allocate by, don't allocate by strength, just do it randomly. Do it randomly. So it's important, this one, because it's also where you get to be scrutinized by your peers, and you get to see yourself, or you get to perceive the information from another person's view. This is where I think, and I'd like to put it to you, that you get to learn the most, because your peers will ask you questions, and even the things that you yourself did not know, you'll then be enlightened. But, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do this like this. And this was when we were doing chemical, I think it was called chemical equations, balance. There was a lot of ways that people do it. I think it's like alkanes, something, but it was paper 2. Like, there was a lot of way that people had different strategies. And I think that's why the Feynman technique is important, because that's where I uncovered a lot of things. Like, okay, I don't know, there was that trick. But also even with Euclidean geometry, because you could teach a group of people, your peers, you're going through Euclidean geometry question, and then someone says, actually, I've got a better way of doing it. And it's a faster way, and it's a faster way of identifying the angles, seeing the angles. So that is important, because you get to share. And also, don't gatekeep. Do not gatekeep. Do not gatekeep. Please, guys, share. We are here because we all share a common goal and dream, and that is to see ourselves do well. So, yeah. And then the Leitner and flashcard system. So this one, I don't like this one. My personal opinion. So this one is flashcard, highlighters, mind maps, endless notes, like Pinterest vibes. Um, yeah, I think I'm not wrong. I've seen somewhere that scientifically it's not proven to be the most effective study method, but it is a study method nonetheless. And if it works best for you, I would then yeah, do what works best for you. But I would strongly advise against it. And then so you have the P4QR study method. So this is a 6-step method. And this one is for the content heavy subjects, your agriculture, your paper 2 physics, chemistry, your life sciences. So here, basically what you do is you preview. So when you preview, you write down what you think you know and what you think you don't know. What you think you know and what you think you don't know. I'm repeating the mabel, what you think you know and what you think you don't know. But also write down what you want to know and what you want to improve. And then you go into the theory it's read before question. Go into the theory, revise the theory, and refresh your mind. And then you go into the questions. You bombard yourself with questions. You bombard yourself with questions. You bombard yourself with questions, and then you reflect. Upon reflection, you go to your teachers. You go to your peers. You go to your teachers. This is important. Go to your teachers. Go to your peers. Ask them if you didn't get something right. Hey, I didn't get this right. You know, when I was doing this was Euclidean geometry. I think it was called analytical something. It's part of the cyclic. I think it's cyclic geometry. When I was doing maths, I would go to Mema Gate and be like, "Ma'am, the Fumane O2 over 50 Glen." And this was the bundles. I'm like, "Ma'am, the Fumane O2 over 50 Glen question." And and to be like, "Okay, so the pants," and we'd go through it. And I trust and believe me, I didn't want to do it. It was hard for me to do it, but when I did it, I get over it, and over time, it assisted, and it's really helpful. And then, most importantly, revisit your work so that you don't dwell on an impression that you know it, because you might think you do, but you don't. And then this is the last one. This one is the most important. Okay, this is the FGL one, the ABC principle. Apply BAM to chair. So here you study with an objective. And the objective is whatever objective you set yourself. But basically, I would like to say that the objective must always to, and this is in the founder's quote. This is one of the quotes that the founder likes. And she always says that you must study. Don't study until you get it right. Study until you can't get it wrong. Because it's in the essence of what we do here in FGL to get to the finish line, to be better and to improve. So when you sit down and you're setting objectives for yourself, start with that mentality. And by the way, you did not get into this club by mistake. You got into this club because you deserve to and because you saw a potential within you. So groom it and apply BAM to chair. This principle bits, even when you're procrastinating, just think to yourself, it's easy. Apply BAM to chair. It's that easy. And also, this is one of the things that we got to share at the conference, was that procrastination stems from the misunderstanding that being ready is it's not a feeling, it's a decision, it's a choice. It's not a feeling, it's a decision that you make for yourself. And each time you continue to sleep on your bed under the guise of you're procrastinating or you are not ready, you are choosing a decision that is counter what you're trying to achieve. And therefore, in the process, sacrificing your goal. So sleep and health. Sleep, get sufficient hours of sleep. This is important. Please, guys, this is important. Trust me. People go to hospital and it's not, get sufficient hours of sleep, drink water, eat healthy, and set a healthy routine. By setting a healthy routine, if you can, take a walk. If you can, if there's a playground in your school or a soccer field or whatever kind of field, take a jog in your soccer field. Go join a fitness club. Go Go play soccer, go play rugby if you can, go play whatever sport that you can, but take breaks, set a healthy routine. Bombarding your brain with information, it won't, it is helpful, and I get why you would think that way, but it would only get you somewhere. So this is important, guys. So set a healthy routine, get sufficient hours of sleep, get sufficient amounts of hydration and nutrition, and set a healthy routine. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, because far more regrettable would you sacrificing yourself in the pursuit of a goal, and then when you're about to achieve that goal, you don't even get to experience it. So this is on just me. Be resilient and do not sacrifice your goals. Instant gratuity is a dream killer, and procrastination is a dream killer too. And each time you choose to procrastinate, each time you choose, if you have a goal and you know what you need to do not stop at anything. And by the way, if you have a goal and you know what you want for yourself, automatically you will gravitate towards the people who want the same thing or have the same vision as you. It may differ in form, but maybe in principle, it will be the same, which is we all want to be successful. So do not sacrifice your goal for instant gratuity. And by instant gratuity, I mean each time you choose to watch Generations over going to study, that's instant gratuity. Each time you choose to go watch soccer over studying, that's instant gratuity, because it comes at a cost, and it comes at the cost of a dream. Hours matter, and the hours you put in matter. Yes, I know, and I've emphasized in this that give yourself grace and take breaks. It's important, but if it matters more, you will do it day in, day out, early in the morning, leaving no stones unturned, because if it's important, do it, and do it with all your might. And then this is exhaust your resources. There's a channel that we used to watch called Lungis and Ghost and Kevin Matz. Use those channel. Take it from me. I'm at Wits, the best university in Africa, and I am studying an elite course. Take it from me. Exhaust your resources. Use that YouTube. It's free. Use it. If you need something or some clarification, even if you do not need some clarification, because this is something I said, don't dwell on the impression that you know something, because you might think you do, but you don't. Or even if you do, you'll get better tricks or a better toolbox upon which you can deal with that thing. So do exhaust your resources. They're all free. Your teachers, if you have their numbers and if you can build a relationship with them, do that. Pester them. Pester them. Especially, I know if you say Ebenezer, you are very privileged. Do not stop, pester them. If you are all of you guys are FGL members, use the tutoring system. Hey guys, use the tutoring system. And then also run your own race. Don't set your own goals, and the only competitor must be you. The only competitor must be you and the person you were yesterday. It mustn't be the next person who got better marks than you in physics. No, it must be you. When you got 85% or something less than your average and someone got 95%, the next competitor you must not work at beating that person. You must work at achieving your goal. If your threshold was like, I want to get 95%, you got 85%, and someone else got that 95%, don't be bitter about it. As a matter of fact, go and ask what they did right. In financial accounting, FINAC, there's a girl who got 94%. That's the highest mark a person has ever got for financial accounting in year 2. So I went to ask the course administrator and the course coordinators on, like, guys, I need to find this person. Who is this person? And then and then the lecturer, like, okay, we'll put you in a group with them and then we'll talk. And I'm in a group that we're working on with that person, because I want her to tell me, how did she get to that 94%? So learn from your peers. learn from your peers, but as much as you are learning, don't gatekeep, share whatever study resources you have as your own. But importantly, run your own race and run your own race in your own terms. Um, Conclusion. Um, so choose 2 or 3 methods that work best for you. My homework to you guys is that there's something called SMART. All of you guys, I'm assuming you must have done it at this point. It's called the SMART process. When you're choosing these study methods, you must be specific. You must be measurable, whether or not you check the feasibility. You must be realistic. And I don't think in this context the time boundness matters, but I think it would matter if you use a study technique and you find it that it's not the best for you. And also be consistent, be consistently consistent, because as an FGLer, that's what you are. Don't study today and leave it tomorrow. Study today, the day after today, and today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. Make it a habit. And I swear to you, if you subject yourself to that and you make it a habit, the benefits from that will always be good. Yeah. So this is me. And one of the last thing, have a why. When things will get hard, things will not go your way. Have a why, because having a why in this world, in this academic world we are in, is a cooperational anchor. When you face setbacks, having a why will get you up there. When you're getting those rejection letters, even from those bursaries, for those of you who are doing grade 12, when you have that why, it's important. Me, I did it because I want a better life for me and my siblings. And at some point, I want my parents, I want to repay them. And that's my why. Even when I do, because uni is hard, when I fall below my targets and it's a lot, I continue because I have an operational anchor, and that is my why. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Onwaba. We're going to get to question time, of course. Before we do, you know that when we started promoting this webinar, we had 2 speakers, and it wasn't you on the promotion video. It wasn't you on the posters. Regrettably, Uzumkita had a medical emergency, and she had to step away from the session today. And Onwaba was called literally at 1:30 this afternoon and requested to step in to do the study technique session, and he stepped up to the plate, and it sounds like you've always prepared, and I think that is the message entirely for today. Apart from the incredible tips that you've given us, it's the fact that you are ready because this is what you do. That studying effectively is a core part of who you are, and a key anchor as to why you're so successful. So I want to say thank you for stepping up. And of course, we wish Uzim a speedy recovery. She's going to be joining us in East London for the conference. But there are a few questions that have already come in. The first one is from Ulino Yolo, asking if you ever got burnout. And if you did, how did you recover from it?
Yes, I did. So okay, I'll 2 instances. The first one was in matric. So just when I had to write my final exams, I found I was like, okay, I'm not. When I had to sit down and study, it was hard. Like I wasn't. I was just even 2 hours was. It was hard for me to get through 2 hours without sleeping. So decided to do something about it. I went to my teacher, Saline at that point, and I told her, I was like I don't know. This is hard for me because this is crunch time and this is important for me. This is something I've worked for all my life, and I can't quit now. There was a mental toll that it came with, and then I was told uh, circumstances vary, but I was told take a week, just take a week to yourself, sleep, and I did that. I took a week to myself. Didn't take a week. I took 3 days. Took 3 days. 3 days was all I needed. I went to buy, honestly, what I did was I went to buy myself ice cream. I even got to go to the beach. That's what I did. and yeah, came back better. And yeah.
Mm. Mm. And I think that's why you always emphasize the taking care of yourself, that burnout is a real thing. In terms of your sleep schedule, in the study techniques, you mentioned how important it was to sleep. How did you manage your schedule? That's one of the questions here.
Okay, so in my sleep, so I'm a very systematic person. Like I plan my day. Like I plan my day, and I've cut off time nowadays that say that if I've done something and by 12:30 or by 1 o'clock, I'm still at the library, I'm leaving. I have to come back to rest and sleep because I have an 8 o'clock and I have to pull up to the 8 o'clock. Anything that I did not understand, I will ask my teachers, I will ask my peers, I'll go on peer review and I'll go consult with my teachers and I'll get more often than not, I've I've always gotten what I wanted. So I plan my day. I have a cut off time that at 10 I'm sleeping, or depending on the time of the season as well. If it's exam time, it's reasonable for me to sleep at 2 because we don't in exam time we don't wake up early. We
Go to
most
lectures.
times our exams are at 10, or like we don't have lecturers or lectures. So plan your time, but planning it according to you. It's what I said that when you plan, you've got to align it with you. For example, I have friends who cross nights. They can cross nights, but that's them. I know that when I'm at the library and I'm like, guys, I'm leaving at 1, and they're looking at me with eyes that goes, yo. It's like, no, me, I'm leaving at 1. Guys, I'm leaving at 1 because I have to go sleep. That's me. And it works for me because either way, I'm able to get what I want. And not necessarily I'm not where I want academically here at university. I'm not like where I want, but I'm there. I'm yeah, I'm doing well for myself. But once more, I'll emphasize this: do what works for you. When
Mm,
you plan or when you strategize your timesheet, align it with how you know yourself. If you know you like to sleep, sleep at night because it's really unnecessary and it's going to take a toll on you. And it's only you are going to suffer.
mm. All right, thank you for that. If Yue wants to know about the bundles you keep mentioning, the study bundles, what are they? Where do they find them?
I can't remember the websites, but I'll ask for those of you who are at the Ebenezer, I'll ask the teachers to share. I will ask the teachers to share, but you can find them on the I think the Department of Education in the Eastern Cape had them, like the
Mhm.
bundles, they were grouped like topic by topic, each thingy. There were a lot of websites actually where you could pass papers, uh, exam questions. Some of the exam questions were actually fresh and designed, so we were always dealing with something new. Yeah. But I will share the websites. I try to share.
Thank you so much. So Budluvuka is going to get that information from Ubud Onwaba and also from the educators and share with you guys. Also, the internet is quick. You ask a question, where do I find past papers? What is the best website for me? And you're able to get those resources.
You can
Because
even
Imna's
ask
asking,
ChatGPT.
ask ChatGPT and
Just
sort
ask
that out.
ChatGPT.
Did you play any sports? Was that a priority for you? And if you did, how did you manage that?
I didn't play sports. I wasn't a sports person. I had
A
debate, I had
debater.
environmental club, and I was a person who was always traveling out of the school. Like I was always going to other provinces, always going to camps. So I had that, always presenting in front of mayors and dignitaries. So that's what I did. But I was also systematic. For example, when my biggest project I had, I knew that I had to study early. Also, this is one thing that's important. Keep the main thing main.
Mm,
Main thing, keep it main. So what I used to do was like I used to plan to say, okay, I'll only use 2 hours for my presentation to prepare. But maybe during the weekends, I'll spend the bulk of the morning in the weekend just going through my presentations and my speeches. And then I'll call my friends, I'll be on a video call with them, and yeah, but that was because I didn't play sports. I
mm.
find solace in debate and environmental club and just going around and speaking and presenting things and ideas.
Yeah, so your extramural activities also were demanding in terms of time, but you kept the main thing, and you were able to find that balance and excel in leading the environmental club, leading the debate and public speaking society, and still being a top achiever. So I think that's the main lesson here, Kazimla, is keep the main thing, and you can see Onwaba as a person who's a stickler for detail and scheduling, and that's how he gets it done. Asange wants to know life sciences. What's the best study method that you would recommend for life sciences?
I think I'll say the SQ4R method.
Mm.
The
That,
SQ4R method.
that's the one where you review,
You
question,
preview
read.
and then you review again.
All right,
Review and you review it.
can you repeat that? What are those steps?
So let me go back to my slides. So yeah, this is the one. So it's preview, question, read, reflect, and revisit.
Mm, mm. I think that makes sense. Amila is asking a question that I already know my strong answer to, but I would take your answer as a peer. Would you recommend using studying pills in matric? If so, can you recommend any?
No,
Mm,
do not.
mm,
It's do not. I'm not trying to scare you, but if you do, you'll be in trouble.
mm. Yeah.
If you do, you'll
Also,
be in trouble.
it's a matter of conditioning your brain, right? So you condition your brain by creating all these habits and that sort of thing, and your brain sort of figures out how to function, how to manage stress and that sort of thing. And
Because
then,
also the brain is a muscle. The brain is a muscle. What you train your brain does what it tells you.
mm,
What you feed your brain in return will become your master. So
mm,
train it. Like
mm,
just train your brain. You trust me, even when you are in university, because in university you have to read a lot. Like you really have to read a lot. When you are in university, if you've trained your brain to read, if you train your brain, the muscle recovery in your brain, you've trained it. By the time you reach university, oh, like
mm.
I'm telling you without a doubt.
Sorted. Abuka wants to know, feeling discouraged at some point, and how did you overcome that? You know, when you're just like, I don't think I can do this.
The difficult,
Mm,
yeah, that's a difficult one. But the thing is, I've always done things because I'm passionate about them. And I've always done things because if it doesn't make sense for me or if it doesn't feel right, I won't do it.
mm,
And this is also the power of knowing when to quit. I've always known when to quit. Even with debate environmental club, I've always known when to quit. If it doesn't feel right, leave. Go focus on the most important thing, which is the main thing.
mm,
And because that's the one thing you can't run away from.
mm,
But also, what I want to stress is failing is part of life. Setbacks and failure are part of life, and you can't run away from them. I mean, we
mm,
experience them in different ways, all of us, but it's something you can't run away from. It will happen at some point in your life, all of us. The most successful people, one of the privileges that I get to have in universities, I get to talk to the most successful people, CEOs, founders, CFOs, and they have failed. Some of them, they have failed dismally to a point where they never thought that they would ever reach where they were. So failing is a part of life, and you've got to take it in as that. It's that, full stop. But it's also important, and something I did mention, know your why.
mm,
Because when you are overwhelmed, when you feel like you can't do it, that will carry you. It will
Agreed.
carry you.
Agreed. Well, Onwaba, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. I know it's a busy time as you're back at varsity. Lots of hearts and claps going through on the chat. We truly appreciate you. Second year is no child's play, but certainly wishing you all of the best. I cannot wait to have you back here to hear how you graduate, to celebrate your honors, to celebrate your first employment. And I think in my heart, and I think as we're reflecting on the journey that you've had as a future Global Leaders Club member, perhaps you're going to have a founder story. Perhaps you are you know? So we'll keep a keen look out for you. Any final thoughts and words to the Future Global Leaders Club members?
Oh yes, guys, good luck for your exams. I wanted to say that for any of you guys who didn't do well or didn't whatever you pledged, you didn't get it. The term just started. The new second half of the year just started. Use it wisely, and also
Mhm.
always remember time wasted will never return. But with all of that said, I wish you guys all the best, and you can do it. You're FGLers because like it's not a mistake. Like it's really not a mistake. You are here because a potential was seen within you. Just unleash that potential. Don't let it go into waste. Yeah, that's all.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Onwaba. You can tell why he was one of our speakers at the inaugural Team Believe Self conference. He certainly believes in himself and certainly believes in all of you.